Are you truly repenting, or just protecting your bad habits?
Hello everyone. Welcome to today's breakdown. Today, we're going to talk about a deeply soul-searching topic. This content comes from a profound dialogue shared by the Buddha Action Association of Australia. Have you ever had a thought pop into your mind if there really are ultimate gods, Buddhas, or bodhisattvas in the universe? Why is our daily life still filled with so much pain and so many troubles? It sounds a bit unreasonable, right? So today, let us thoroughly unpack this inspiring paradox, the paradox of the sacred pillar. The paradox of the infinite light wisdom body. Right at the beginning of the dialogue, a disciple posed a core question that most of us have probably asked secretly in our hearts 100 times. If the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas truly possess the boundless infinite light wisdom body and infinite spiritual power just as the scriptures say, why are we ordinary people still struggling in the dark? Is it because their power is insufficient? Or have we been completely abandoned? This is a crucial question. The Master's explanation that follows is truly mind-blowing and will completely overturn your imagination. Let us look at the first part. What is this invisible support known as the infinite light wisdom body? In Buddhist scriptures, the vow and willpower of the Buddha are described as a wind called the Great Wisdom Wind Dazi Fen. Don't think of this as just an abstract term, it is actually an incredible spiritual force. What is its purpose? It is designed to effortlessly disperse the deepest afflictions inside our hearts while skillfully protecting the nascent roots of goodness within us so we don't destroy them ourselves. In the scriptures, this is called skillful preservation, Qiao Qi. In other words, this force doesn't meet force with force, it is a profoundly wise and gentle guidance. Just as mentioned in the Avatamsaka Sutra, this great wisdom wind is blowing at all times. The power of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas vows is ready at any moment to help us eliminate those deep-seated bad habits. What does this mean? It means that when we feel like we can't go on, whether on our path of spiritual practice or in daily life, we are never truly alone. That massive, warm, supporting force has always been operating right beside us. Our free will in the trash card analogy. This leads to the second question: if this powerful wind is constantly blowing, why doesn't the Buddha force us to change? This touches on the obstacle of free will. If this powerful wisdom wind is always present, why do we feel completely unaware of it? The Master used a super vivid analogy here. Imagine you are pushing a ridiculously heavy cart uphill. You are gasping for air and dripping with sweat. At that moment, a strong person next to you wants to lend a hand. But here's the problem: your cart is filled with trash, which represents all our daily afflictions and bad habits, and you are clutching this trash tightly as if it were precious treasure. When the person trying to help attempts to throw the trash away to lighten your load, not only do you refuse, but you also lose your temper at them. What choice does that helper have? They can only step back and respect your choice. So, here is a key insight: the Buddha will never do anything that makes you unhappy. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have 100% respect for us, which includes absolute respect for our free will. If you are deeply angry and resistant to letting go of worldly attachments or throwing away that stinky trash, they will never use force to snatch it from you. They are compassionate, but they will never coerce. The only thing they can do is wait for you quietly. This is a common ailment of human nature. We are deeply contradictory in our hearts. One minute we are desperately begging the Buddha to save us. In the next minute we are fiercely guarding our greed, arrogance, or various bad habits. We view the Buddha's guidance as an offensive threat to our treasures. We bounce back and forth between crying for help and defending our flaws to the death. In the end, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can only remain on standby, waiting for the day we are genuinely ready to change before they can step in. 3. Buddha vs. Mara, respect vs. coercion. Speaking of free will, we must examine the fundamental difference between the Buddha and Mara the demon. Their approaches are worlds apart. The Buddha's approach humbles himself, respects you completely, waits patiently until you are ready, and does not force you even a single bit. Mara's approach loves to play the supreme master to achieve what he considers a good outcome. He won't hesitate to use extreme violence and coercion, completely ignoring and even crushing your free will. At this point, the disciple intuitively asks, but if strict discipline can make someone change 000 times faster, wouldn't that be a good thing for everyone? The Master immediately gave a serious warning: although it might be faster, Forcibly depriving someone of their free will is inherently an absolute evil. Using evil means to achieve a seemingly righteous result completely runs counter to true spiritual practice. In the end, it will thoroughly ruin your own mind and conduct. Forcing someone to change even under the banner of it's for your own good comes with a terrifying cost. It triggers an endless cycle of retribution and causes the helper to incur an unpayable debt of karmic burden. A classic example from history is Devadatta. He initially intended to commit evil and use coercion to accelerate Shakyamuni Buddha's attainment of Buddhahood. The result, he burdened himself with immense karmic obstacles and fell into the relentless torment of hell. That is the chilling price of forcing a result. True repentance. Fear is true repentance. Since coercion isn't an option, what constitutes true repentance? How can we truly receive the help of that great wisdom when? The master used a very graphic metaphor involving a poisonous snake bite. Imagine walking through tall grass when a deadly snake bites you hard. The venom spreads. And the agonizing, near-death pain becomes something you can never forget. After experiencing that extreme terror, the next time you see even a harmless grass snake, you will shake uncontrollably and turn around to run immediately. True repentance means developing that exact instinctive, extreme terror toward our own bad habits. If you merely cry a river of tears in front of a Buddha statue asking for forgiveness, but then turn around and continue indulging in worldly greed and pleasures, that isn't repentance. To put it bluntly, you're just playing games with the Buddha. Simply talking without changing your behavior renders such confessions completely meaningless. To help everyone understand better, the master gave a relatable everyday example: our relationship with food. Let me test our greed for food. Imagine facing the temptation of desserts like eating an entire tub of ice cream or a massive slice of heavy cream cake in one sitting. While enjoying those few minutes of sensory stimulation, we deliberately ignore the aftermath. Now, consider a horrifying physical reality. If your hands are covered in that thick artificial cream, it sometimes takes several washes with strong soap to get them clean, right? Delicate stomach and blood vessels. What kind of terrifying sludge does it form inside? Your internal organs don't have dish soap to scrub away those heavy oils. If you don't quiet your mind and deeply contemplate this terrible physical reality, you can't truly fear the bad habit of gluttony. True awakening requires a process. You must observe and confront the extreme suffering that these attachments bring, realizing the horrifying physical and karmic consequences behind them. Just like watching news reports of severe drug addiction, you must deeply understand that tragic outcome until you develop an absolute terror of your own bad habits. When you truly see things clearly, transformation doesn't require you to grit your teeth and force it. It happens naturally in an instant. This echoes the most incisive and impactful statement made by the master in this session. True repentance means not daring to do it again. True repentance isn't about writing a 10,000-word self-criticism, nor is it kneeling in front of a deity crying and apologizing repeatedly. True repentance is when you deeply realize how terrifying something is, reaching a state where you wouldn't dare do it again even if someone threatened your life. That is true awakening power. Final reflection. As we reach the end of today's breakdown, I'd like to leave you with a deep question to reflect on your own journey. Take a look at the heavy cart you are pushing. What stinky trash are you still clinging to, refusing to let the great wisdom wind blow away? When you are finally ready one day and decide to stop being a slave to these afflictions, notice that boundless light and wisdom have been waiting for you in the very same place all along. I hope the insights shared today from the Buddha Action Association of Australia bring you some fresh inspiration. Until next time.